Okay. No!
Welcome to the Talkin Yanks pregame show, brought to you by SeatGeek. Use code YANKS. Jake Storielli here, joined by Joe's McFly, BBD. There may be a James O'Brien cameo. Shout out a happy birthday party to Baby James today.
Baby James having a birthday.
Which is a good omen
Great
for the
omen. Yankees
and Carlos Rodon. You know, they've never lost a World Series game on Baby James' birthday. So that's a huge advantage for us going in.
Big time.
Joe's, how you doing, dude? You just washed yesterday?
I'm doing great. Hopped in here. I'm very optimistic today. Started watching a whole bunch of Game 2 World Series 2009.
Yeah.
AJ Burnett twirling. I'd love that. I think it's great vibes right now. Win today, make it a best of 5 series, basically.
Joe's, these series don't start until the road team wins a game. The home team loses a game. How do you say that?
Until the home team loses a home game.
Well, let's make the series start tonight, huh?
Why not?
Let's get into it because I know you last night were talking a lot about the lineup. My guy John Boy and myself have a lot of interest in the lineup and some potential shakeups. But for today, they're running it back, Joseph. Gleyber Torres, Soto, Judge, Stanton, Jazz, Rizzo, Volpe, Wells, Verdugo. Carlos Rodon on the bump is different. Again, if people want to go listen, last night's episode on Talkin Yanks, Joe's McFly Sports, they can get our full thoughts on the lineup. But for today,
yes,
how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I gave the Yankees 2 options yesterday. I said if the Yankees want to win a World Series, number one, you can either move Judge down and you could go that route, or second route is Judge hits. Pop. At this point, I'm not even going to ask. You know how we do ask, Jake?
No.
We do ask sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes we'll ask, hey, a player, I want you to do this, that, and the third. I'm begging, Bob. Okay? I'm begging. Please come through, Bob. We need you tonight. We need you. Yankees can't win the World Series without Aaron Judge. It's just, team's not constructed that way. Come on. We can do it.
Yeah, I think after, we talked on Talkin Yanks for a bit. We talked after Talkin Yanks for a bit with you.
Yes.
BBD, Mike Cole, Kyle floating around the office. And it was kind of like, what can we do? And what should be option 1 should be option A.
Yes.
Aaron Judge, the MVP, has to be
the MVP.
I mean, and even if we want to take baby steps, Joseph, he has to be good.
Yeah.
He has to have good at bats. He has to draw walks. He has to hit the ball the other way. Obviously, the home runs and the run production, and that's why he's going to win American League MVP. But if he's not a contributor to this lineup, the team is screwed.
It is, and it's just because
he's the MVP.
Roberts, right? He's the MVP. Roberts will just say, "I'm not going to pitch to Soto. Not going to let him beat me. I'll pitch to Judge, and then Giancarlo, when he gets up, there's almost nobody on base. Giancarlo, or maybe he's getting up at the end, on another inning or whatnot, because the lineup is actually coming around. So hopefully, hey, Judge, everything could be a race, Pop. It doesn't really matter. people have very short-term memories when it comes to playoff performances, as long as you have a really good one. And we talked about AJ Burnett first. Yeah, I think AJ Burnett until game 2 of the 2009 World Series had like a 4+ ERA. Nobody believed he was going to do well, and he was cemented in Yankee lore with that one game. So you can do the same for yourself as well if you come up and you push the Yankees into a 1-1 going back to Yankee Stadium.
And for the Dodgers, just to get it out of the way, it is Ohtani, Betts, Teoscar,
Yes.
Freeman. Tommy Edman slides up. Kike Hernandez at second base. Muncy, Will Smith, and Miggy Rojas will be in the 9 spot with Yamamoto on the bump, the former Yankee. So, Joe's, what it's kind of we're at a funny part with the pregame show and just the year because I think everyone knows to a degree what we're watching for.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you watching for tonight?
What I'm watching for is for some early runs for the Yankees. Yamamoto is a guy that's actually not really built up. If they could be able to put up some runs early against this guy, that'll kind of put yesterday in the rearview mirror quick and ASAP. I would love to get a nice 3 spot early somewhere in there within the first 3 innings. That'll be great.
Not going to get an argument on my side of things. The Dodgers in they last series they blew out the Mets in game 1. The Mets got out to an early lead. I think Lindor hit a leadoff homer that game. They stretched out that lead, and the Dodgers didn't use their A pen, which is their best weapon and their best route to winning games. That you can essentially make them punt a World Series game. Not use Trine and not use Kopech. Probably no Brewstar today on their end. His first time pitching in a while. Although I'm not going to doubt him in any facet of life after what I saw yesterday.
Yeah, he was efficient. What about Basilio?
I mean, he could be in a similar boat, right? Like he missed the CS. Like there is a world where the Dodgers could leave today's game, and if they don't use their A bullpen and it's a loss, they just kind of shrug and move on. And if we could get that shrug and move on in the 5th inning, that would be a beautiful thing.
Yes, it would be. And it would be a game like that would actually be good for people that are struggling to get their bearings under them and feel like they can be in this series with less pressure. That would be great. Somebody like a Wells, the bottom of the lineup, somebody like a Judge at the top of it. If you can get something going like that, some low pressure offensive innings, that would be great. But it starts with us scoring first. That's what I'm definitely watching for.
I mean, again, for what we're watching for, Rodon has to shove. Judge, like all the big stuff. The big guys have to be the big guys. The little guys have to be contributing little guys every day of my life. I want to watch Volpe. Volpe was incredible the first 2 series. And, looking at the box score last night and, you're still feeling the emotions of the game. And I looked at Volpe's box score and I was like, okay, so he had a walk, like whatever. I forgot it was an intentional walk during the lefty brigade that the Yankees are going to leave open again. And again, he was so good. Him and Rizzo were so good at flipping the bottom of that lineup that I just want to see where he's at, because Volpe can be a difference maker in the second half of the lineup for this team. He was during the first 2 series. And again, like in hindsight, like Jazz had a nice day yesterday. Jazz had 2 hits and 3 steals. Rizzo had a hit and a walk. So I know Wells, and let's be honest, at this point of the season, Wells and Verdugo are out there for their defense. Yes. Verdugo, we saw it yesterday. Wells, we don't feel it as much, but he limits the base running on their end. That Volpe, also out there for defense, but his at-bats were so good during the division series in CS that, like, baseball moves quick, right? That if Judge has a couple good at-bats today and Volpe has a couple good at-bats today, our lineup can feel 7 deep again.
Yes,
Instead of yesterday, it felt 2.5 deep.
it
Been
did.
there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love that. I'd also, dude. I mean, the offense is so. It's funny the way that you look at things because you look at the Dodgers lineup, right? It feels like, oh my God, it almost feels like 9 or 8 deep and whatnot. But you throw a couple of people struggling in there, and then it starts to feel a little different. And I think it's the same thing with the Yankee lineup, like you said, where it's like, damn, Judge is struggling here. And even though Volpe didn't get the hits yesterday, I still feel like his at bats are good. Um,
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm nowhere near out on Volpe, and it was one of my fears coming into the city, like
yes,
series that you can, any player can have an 0 for 4 day on any given day. That I didn't want that to get in the way of Volpe just having good at bats.
yeah, and it hasn't, and that's good. And what I do like and what I want to continue is Volpe continue to play good defense. He has been doing that, and that's great. I want the Yankees to play a very good, sound defensive game. And I think Soto took some responsibility for that yesterday, talking about a couple of
Mm.
misplays in right field, which led to 2 triples. So let's shore that part up too, man. I know we talk a lot of offense, but run prevention is also part of it too.
Gleyber Torres has the tough not fielding the throw from Soto that
That's,
leads to an extra base and a sac fly. And then, you know how quickly baseball moves. Gleyber Torres is a foot away from hitting what could have been a game-winning homer. So
mm-hmm.
a lot of eyes on Gleyber, per usual, who again has been great this postseason, especially offensively. Um, he lined out in the first inning yesterday. God, getting that first inning run would be big
Yes.
today. What's
Yeah.
that big smile on your face?
I don't know. I'm starting to get that little excitement and jitters. But the game coming up, it's like, and then this is what the pregame show's about, right? Kind of like
Right.
getting all that. Um, First inning runs are so massive right now. I want Rodon to just worry about only pitching, not feeling like he has to be perfect.
Well, let's talk about Carlos Rodon and the pitching path to victory, and it's brought to you by Body Armor. This episode is brought to you by Body Armor Sports Drinks. A really cool thing, like you guys probably know Body Armor by now. I was introduced probably a decade ago because one of my like super in shape friends was drinking Body Armor, and I was like, I'd like that. I think if he drinks that, maybe I should be drinking that. And I think the coolest part, I asked our people to ask their people because this is a true story, and I didn't know if they'd think it was cool, but I knew our audience would think it was cool. Like Body Armor saw what we
Yeah,
were doing throughout these playoffs, and they were like, "We want in. So how
let's
do we
do
do
it.
it?" We said, "Let's go." Let's go. So it's real hydration, real ingredients, packed with electrolytes, vitamins, and nothing artificial. Great tasting flavor, strawberry, banana. I like the orange mango. Uh,
Yes.
get yours today at Walmart or local grocery store near you. There's a link in the description if you need it. I mean, it's Body Armor, people.
Audio.
What's your pitching path to victory today, Josh?
I thought, and again, we don't know what happened yesterday when Boone went to the mound, right? He didn't signal immediately, so I don't know if Cole told him he was done, but I thought he was a little quick to the draw. I thought 88 pitches, you got to kind of go. Even Jeter criticized the move. Uh, A-Rod co-signed, and they felt like you gotta, you gotta like let him out there. The least the other team sees your pen, the better. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get a little greedy. Get Carlos Rodon, please give me 6 2/3 today minimum. I'd love that, and then we can work from there. I think with a day off tomorrow, if you have the game within grasp, I think Luke Weaver would be available. How many pitches did he have today? Yesterday? 19 pitches? It wasn't that many pitches. I know it's
So
one
he
third.
he had 19. Jake Cousins had 14. Everyone else was single digits. So
It's so weird, right? Like it felt like we were trying to figure, but the Dodgers are swinging early, keeping those pitch counts down. I think everybody's pretty much available. Um, I would love to see from there. If you're getting 6 2/3, you then get me Canely and a mixture of Canely and Luke Weaver, and those are like the only pitchers that I want to see.
yeah, I will be interested to see we know how the Yankees feel about Clay Holmes. We've seen it all postseason long that he has been essentially the first guy out of the bullpen. Um, that I have to figure he'll be a part of this game, and I'd have to figure, um, with this lineup, they've got Will Smith and Miggy Rojas at the bottom. Those are two righties back to back. You also have Betts and Teoscar back
Mm,
to back. So I'm gonna prep Yankee fans now. I did this
Holmes,
last pregame
Holmes is
show.
coming. He's gonna have to pitch well.
I did this last pregame show, and I unfortunately was right. They're gonna go to Clay Holmes, and God, I think they're licking their lips at that Mookie Teoscar lane. Um,
So you know
so
what? Give me 7 and have him come in with an empty inning.
did you just go
Nobody
from
on.
you just went from 6 2/3 to 7 from
Sorry,
Rodon?
Pop. You're gonna have to give me 7 because I need Holmes to come in the inning where there's nobody on base. And twirl pop.
Well, and maybe something else to watch here. Um, because the Yankees have brought Clay into a lot of the middle of innings. I think they are smart enough at this point that they don't like Clay versus obviously Ohtani. No, they don't like anyone versus Ohtani.
No.
Freddie, who bookend Betts and Teoscar. So I wouldn't be surprised if they need a 6th or 7th inning and that lineup is flipping around.
Nestor?
Well, it's going to be interesting. I guess I don't fully know the answer. Like, do you bring in Holmes for Smith, Rojas, and then you can just walk Ohtani and Betts Hernandez? You turn that into a 4-person righty lane. Like that's kind of what's happening. That's what's happening at the bottom of the Yankees lineup right now. So
Right.
it would be interesting, especially if they need to press a button early for Rodon, which I know, that's not going to happen tonight. But if they had to, then they can almost force Roberts' hand for a lane there and try to get through a tricky 5th or something like that. Um, I think the other just concept of note, it's all hands on deck. I mean, you
Yes.
lost game 1 and there's an off day tomorrow. Like
It's the World Series, Pop.
this is
It's the
this
World
is
Series.
this
It's
is
game 2 of the
why
World Series.
this is why you have bullpen rules throughout the year is to get to this spot. So I think we've seen a couple games where like Luke has gone 1.1, Clay has gone 1.1, and Tommy has gone 1.1.
Mm-hmm.
Which we all know that combines for 4 innings. Like if you
Yes.
sneak that extra out. So if Rodon can go 5, I feel like that would be their try at 4 innings with Cousins or Tim Hill in case of emergency.
Mm-hmm.
But for Carlos Rodon, man, I mean, this is the one. And he has been great. That first start, obviously, he came out and burned his energy.
He's
Like,
learned.
and he learned. And Andy Pettit was around, and they talked to him, and they talked about that. Rodon has been really strong. His last Guardians line gets messed with a little bit, but he has been strong on the bump. It's going to be interesting to see him against this Dodgers team with all the left, right, and switch business going on. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not like these Dodgers are completely, strange to him. Like he pitched in the NL West for a couple years,
Good.
and that's how he earned that big contract. So, I think we're feeling pretty good about Rodon. I think he's going to give us a quality effort. I'm a little more scared that we're gonna be in a similar game to yesterday where Rodon and Yamamoto, we're looking at the 5th, 6th inning and it's 1-0, 0-0 or something like that, which that's with both of these bullpens, that's scary.
It is. It's 100% scary. This is why it's imperative that the Yankees get a big lead. And when you have those runners, listen, everybody wants to talk about, oh, you need to hit with runners in scoring position. Yesterday, the Dodgers were 0 for 7 runners in scoring position until the Freddie Freeman grand slam. And nobody remembers that runner scoring position stat. So cash in on your opportunities, man, when you have them. And I feel like a lot of that is going to end up falling on Judge. is just gonna find him until he comes through. Because it's funny the way baseball works, man. When Giancarlo's up, like you want to see him every inning, and you're almost like counting batters to get to Giancarlo. And everybody else, and it just feels like, all right, whatever. Or Soto. Soto's another guy. When we get that feeling with Judge again, then that's when things are like, okay, like we don't, we can feel like, okay, we can really make a big time dent in this game if we can get these guys 2, 3, and 4, like really coming up this inning or coming up with runners on. I haven't really had that, only had that with Soto and then with Giancarlo. What Judge has done has almost felt like a surprise, if anything. I don't want that.
Yeah, and this is something I don't want to harp on because it's literally out of our hands at this point. But if that bottom of the lineup is just dead again and the Dodgers lefties get through there pretty easily, I realize he's not the biggest threat in the world, but even not having John Birdie on the roster for a potential, hey, it's bases loaded, there's one out, we need you to do something.
Yes.
And I don't know. I know the Yankees were hunting for it through the year with a guy like JD Davis and other stuff like that, but it would be huge to have a drag and drop righty option.
I wish they believed in Dominguez batting right-handed. He's a switch hitter, and he's relegated to left-handed duty.
They don't believe in him hitting right-handed. They don't believe in Oswaldo hitting right-handed, and they don't believe in Trent Grisham against lefties. Although he has some history, but that's none of our business tonight, I'm assuming.
Yes.
I don't know, Joseph. This is usually the part of the show where we bring you in to say, what did we miss? So what did we miss?
Well, Jimmy, what did we miss?
Oh, he's at the party.
It's kind of tough when you kind of just talked about everything you would have talked about if somebody missed.
Right.
I think we missed out on. Oh, you know what? A big element that was big in yesterday's game, and this has to do with people being on, but Jazz and Volpe being on base wreak havoc. It just introduces a new element to the lineup. I mean, to the not only to the lineup but to the offense, that it gives the Dodgers like a different look, something to worry about. The fact that Jazz had 3 stolen bases yesterday, and you had Volpe have one as well, like you're running rough shot. It's like, okay, that's big time.
What was that phrase? Running rough shot? Do I know what that means?
Yes.
Like I've heard it before, but I don't think I know what that means.
It means that you're just kind of like, you don't really care.
Okay.
I like that. If we can get some of that for the Yankee offense tonight, just get runners moving like that. That's good. It feels like we got something like moving, some hitting and running between those two. I always like and they're not here, but I do like the whole Jazz and Volpe element. They bring that speed to the bottom of the lineup. So I would like some more of that. Be awesome if we could get that.
Do you have any premonitions for tonight's game?
Oh,
what does your mind's mind see?
What am I seeing in my mind's mind? I'm seeing a diving shoestring catch from Judge.
Oh,
Center field, and that's tough because you don't want the ball to go behind you, but there's runners on, and that kind of saves the inning, and the inning's done. Takes the chance, and he's able to get to that ball. I just seen that right now.
That's huge.
That's
a big play.
Rodon gets hype about it.
That's good.
Yes. Good defensive play.
I'm trying to make this out, so maybe I'll try to act it out physically to see where I get to. Currently, the only thing I see is this. I think we get to Brazier tonight. I think it's either tied or we're up 1, and they try to sneak an inning out of Brazier.
Isn't that Judge?
I think we get him.
Didn't Judge have good numbers against him? Or is it Giancarlo? It's one of those two.
It's one of those two.
Or Giancarlo because he hates
They
hard.
might even try to sneak him through the lefty lane because they don't want to double up their lefties, and like Doogie might have his moment.
It's both of them.
Oh, thank you, BBD. I appreciate that.
Get get Brazier in this game.
Yes.
Get Brazier in this game.
And that clip of ours went viral yesterday. My God.
What's that?
That clip of ours went viral yesterday.
Why is that?
5 million views. Crazy. They're about to see a good one today.
Let's go viral for the opposite reasons tonight. We'll be streaming on the Talkin Yanks channel. Carlos Rodon. Let's make a memory. Need to.
You can cement yourself into a legend.
This is what being a Yankee is supposed to be about.
Yes.
Thank you guys for coming along the ride with us. And let's hope for a happy Talkin Yanks after the show. Let's hope for all sorts of happy posts after the show. Let's win. Let's be the Yanks.